Let's talk about teenage sex and death at Camp Miasma. This is Jane Schoenbrun's third film, and I will tell you, I've been anticipating this ever since I saw the TV Glow a couple of years back at Sundance. I was like, I'm ready to see whatever Jane does next. Now, I was not the biggest fan of We're All Going to the World's Fair, which was their first film, but I really loved I Saw the TV Glow. I believe it was like my second or number one of that year. And Camp Miasma, I think, is going to be top 3 for me this year. No doubt about it. So let's get into my thoughts and opinions on it. I'm also going to be doing a breakdown where I talk more about the themes and what exactly they meant to me and what they meant to Jane as well. So stay tuned for that video probably after this video. So if you are into that video, make sure that you are hitting that subscribe button and notification bell. Follow us on Letterboxd. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, all that good stuff right here. Let's get into Camp Miasma. So the film stars Hannah Einbinder and also Gillian Anderson, Jack Haven, amongst many familiar faces here. Like I'm telling you, once you see this movie, you'll know. You have Alex G here doing the music, who did, of course, the music for I Saw the TV Glow, and I still listen to that soundtrack today. And yes, this is going to have just as an amazing amount of needle drops and music and an incredible composition by Alex G that really does make this film feel so whole. Like honestly, Alex G's music just accompanies Jane's vision so well, and I would love to see them keep working on many more films together because I think the talent that Alex G puts out is just on another level. Like he really transports you into these moody feelings that the filmmaker is giving, and it is just a feat to be seen. Now, Jane is a filmmaker that is so versatile that really showcases that they aren't going to do the same old you're used to. So if you were coming into this movie expecting another I Saw the TV Glow, even another We're All Going to the World's Fair, if you love that movie, you're wrong. They are going to do something different. And I love how all three films are so different, but at their core, they feel very similar. And I'll talk more about that in my spoiler video that comes after this. I just wanted to get my review out first. Now, Hannah Einbinder here is a very talented actress. She is in the TV show Hacks. I have not watched Hacks, but I've heard so many great things about this. And I really love the sort of care she brings to her character of Chris here, who is a filmmaker who is getting their big break after their previous film went pretty big at Sundance. And they're trying to be careful with how they present themselves to the Hollywood system, while at the same time trying to show their affection for this Camp Miasma, which Camp Miasma in this universe is almost like a Friday the 13th and crossover with Sleepaway Camp. So it's a big slasher that sort of had a ton of sequels, but Hannah's character of Chris is very much so attached to the first film due to the actress that is in that movie, Billy, who is played by Gillian Anderson, who just brings so much of this role to life with how subdued her performance is, and it quickly evolves into more as she starts to peel the layers not only of her own character but also of Chris. And it is just an amazing feat to see these two actresses go back and forth as we slowly see this movie get unfolded into what it really is. And I love how Jane here really puts so many layers of different mediums together to present a very incredible vision that they have. The film is shot in 35mm, and I think that the cinematographer Eric Yu did such a beautiful job here because it is just such a textured work here. As you see the film give you the perspective of these two women who are just trying to figure out where they fit today, and especially from where they came from and where they're going, and they're just trying to get to the bottom of what exactly it means to be living. And at the same time, we're still exploring this lost media of sorts that is Camp Miasma, this movie, and it's presented to us and the point of views that it goes back and forth with, as well as the different vibes that it's giving off. It's so dreamlike Lynchian, you could almost say, and I think it really is calling out so much of our culture today, especially when it comes to films and how we treated film criticism as well as film appreciation, and also how we see the works of the past with the lenses of today. And I think Jane is going through so many ideas here, and I'm gonna get to the bottom of them in my spoiler breakdown, so stay tuned for that. But I think that they really have delivered such a visually incredible film. I think one of the best visual films we've got in a long time. And I think there's so much to unpack here. I need a second rewatch for sure. But I want to get my thoughts out on one rewatch, well, on my first watch, and then I'll do another video later down the road when I give it a second watch on what I uncovered after. I think it is worth seeing in a theater. It is such a gorgeous film on the biggest screen. There is such a beautiful soundtrack as well. And I think that Hannah Einbinder and Gillian Anderson have such an incredible chemistry, some of the best chemistry I've seen in a long time. They really are pouring their hearts and leaving it all on the table for you. And it's just such a feat to see. I think it's incredible to see Jane wearing her inspirations on her sleeves and also just giving such an incredible, I would say, ode to these films of the past, the slasher genre, which are almost for the most part in Hollywood and film criticism sort of the butt of the joke a lot of the times. But Jane here is showcasing and appreciating how raw and true they really are. And I think that it is just a beautiful thing to see in this whole film. So overall, I really do think Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma is one of the best films of the year. I think that I would say it is definitely Jane's best work so far, although I do like I Saw the TV Glow a bit more myself. I just see that this is sort of evolving the ideas that we saw in I See the TV Glow and fleshing them out a bit more. But I do want to give a rewatch to TV Glow as well as Camp Miasma, and I do still have to go back and see We're All Going to the World's Fair and give it another shot. But I think that what we see Jane do through each film is just incredible stuff and so personal and yet so like pop culture-ish, right? Like it's commentary on the culture as well as the art, but also at the same time it feels personal to them, and they've gone on to talk about their experience in being trans and sort of coming out as their career has progressed now, and they've become more of a prominent figure in Hollywood and what that brings to the table. So it's almost like each film feels like a diary of what they're going through, and at the same time still sort of talking about these things that are important to them and really dissecting what it means to be a trans woman in today's age and coming from the past that they came from, right? So I really love how personal it is. I think they pick some incredible people to collab with as well, and that's what really elevates these projects a lot more. Jack Haven, of course, now being in this project, and they were also in I Saw the TV Glow, and I am very excited to see what Jane does next, because each film they've done so far is so different from the other one, but at its core, you know it is a Jane Schoenbrun film, and you really just love it, honestly. A lot of very special guests in this movie, a lot of surprises, and I think that we are definitely have a movie that's going to be a contender for one of the best single shot massacres we've seen. Like, yes, this movie at its core is about these two women, but nonetheless, Jane showcases what they love about the slasher genre so much and really put it front and center. Little Death is on their way to become a slasher icon, mark my words. And I really love how this had a movie within a movie, and it gets a little bit crazier than that. But I think that this is definitely one of those that you do not want to miss, and check it out whenever you can. I know it's playing in limited release so far. I think it should expand more next week, so go catch it if you can. It is one of those movies you can't miss. But let me know your thoughts and opinions on it. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on the spoiler video. Follow us on Letterboxd, TikTok, Instagram as well if you haven't. And as always, that is going to do it for me. I'll see all of you next time. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this movie in the comments down below. Stay tuned for the spoiler video. Stay safe, stay positive.